What is good? I wanted to make a video in response to uh, Reality Benders podcast recently. There's a number of topics that y'all talked about that I wanted to talk about, but I was unable to remember everything. But I do remember the part where Rudy was talking about his feet hurting, and I haven't experienced the same thing where my feet will just hurt, and but while I'm working, like say I go to do a yard, when I first start working I'm okay, but then as soon as I'm done, like, and I sit down or take a break or I'm done with the work, as soon as I start walking, this doesn't happen all the time, but for a while it happened every time, my feet would just hurt real bad, and where I'd have to make myself walk, like they would feel stiff and I'd have to make myself walk. And one of the things I realized, despite it being my actual size, it was the right size of boots, but because of my financial situation, I have to get like $30 boots from Walmart. My experience is when I've gotten like boots that are more like higher end, that cost between, I think I've paid for $100 for a pair of boots before, maybe even more, thinking that if I get the good quality boots, it would, change my situation, and that the boots would last longer. And because they say, oh, you buy the higher quality and they last long, that's bullshit. The times that I've had good quality boots, they deteriorate and mess up just as quickly as some cheap Walmart boots. I can make them like it's the same thing. They're just a bunch of stitched up leather or whatever material they use. Maybe it's just my feet, but I've never. It seems like I had some Red Wing boots at one point, but I don't remember exactly. It's been so many years ago, but I discovered it just really didn't matter, what boots I used. They just, within a few months, they're already worn out because of the type of work I do. It's weird though, because other people don't experience that. In other words, I don't see other people dealing with those issues, and maybe because at the jobs I worked at, I was actually working hard as opposed to my coworkers a lot of time, it seems like, right? So so perhaps I end up using boots up more than my coworkers, and therefore they don't have that problem as much. They're taking it easy. I'm trying to get it done. So because everybody at work, they'd always talk about, oh, if you get the good quality, they'll last longer. You hear that from everybody, but not my experience. Nope. Anyways, so like what'll happen is my feet will hurt and feel stiff, and like I can still walk on them, but it's like I can barely move like, and so I try to, anyways, I ended up, every few months having to get like some new boots from Walmart, but I quit doing that recently, about 6 months ago, or maybe more than that, but I quit getting the Walmart boots because even though they were the right size, the shape of the boot, and I'm flat-footed too, the shape of the boot caused my feet to start bending in like ballerina foot, on the small toe on my left foot mainly. The boots don't do that on my right foot, but on my left foot, the boots would curl up my toes like that, and where I realized that that was not good on my feet, and potentially that had something to do with why I still had that, feeling. And so what happened is I started using these old shoes I had, these like loafer type of shoes, or I don't know what you call these type of shoes, but they're anyways, I started using these shoes that I found. I found these shoes. There's been a number of times where I've found boots and shoes like on the side of the street, and then I'll see if they're my size. One time I found like a brand new set of boots, and I used them, and same issue though. But anyways, I used these after I threw away my last pair of boots. The ones I was wearing, if you go to Walmart, they're in a green box. They look like tactical boots, and they're black, right? And I was using those. I just thought they looked cool. And anyways, and then I would the Scholl's gel pads, they did work for me. As soon as the weather wore out, my bad. I started as soon as the inside of the bottoms wore out in my boots. I would use the. I started using the gel pads, but what I did is I got the foam pad and the gel pad. I put the foam pad at the bottom and the gel pad and I think when I first did that, it was because I didn't have the $30 for a new pair of boots, and the inside of my boots was so worn out, it was cheaper to just get the pads. I believe that's what happened. And I just wanted to see if I could make the boot last longer, and then I figured if I got new boots, eventually I could transfer the gel pads and the foam cushions into the new boots. And that's what I did when I eventually got a new pair of boots. I kept the old boots anyway, and I transferred those pads over into the new. And it actually did help me in my situation. And I want to say to Kirk that I know somebody, I can't remember who it is. They had a foam like rug, but it wasn't like a rug. It was just like a foam mat, but it was decorative. It was, well, I can't say decorative. It was just a foam mat that was designed to blend in with your kitchen, if that makes sense. It wasn't necessarily like beautiful or anything. It was just like a simple foam mat that somebody had in front of their dishes, or in front of their kitchen sink where they do their dishes. And when you stood on it, it was like really soft, right? And so I know y'all were talking about something like that, but I guess I'm just saying that those exist. And so anyways, I'd get up, and it still does happen on occasion. If I'm walking all day and then I sit down and I get back up, my feet will just feel stiff and in pain. They're like stiff and it's pain. But I started wearing these because my boots actually, were getting old, and my feet were hurting, and I could tell my toe was really curled in. I was like, I need some relief. So I started using these, and I used them for a long time, and until the bottom really started making it to where I would slip. They weren't gripping places too well, and I just decided to go ahead and take these off. And so since I didn't have any boots or anything, no money for boots or anything, I started. Unfortunately, I had these nice Skechers, and I started using these to work in, and I guess they're already wearing out, but I don't remember. I think I may have gotten these at a yard sale or somebody gave them to me. I don't remember what happened, but this is what I work in currently. And while it's safer to have steel toe, it's like, I mean, those are more comfortable, and those aren't made for flat foot feet, but I mean, it is what it is. But ever since I stopped using the boots, and especially switching to those shoes, while I don't feel like I'm in my work wear, like I don't, it's weird. It's a weird feeling because like I don't feel like I'm like having work. Like I guess it doesn't matter, but it doesn't feel like I got work boots on. I mean, I don't have work boots on, but I'm just saying it's like having work boots on makes you weirdly. It's like this. Like makes me feel in my mind like, okay, I'm ready to work. I'm working, But when I put those shoes on, it's like, I just got shoes on, Like I don't know how to explain it. It's like weird. It's a weird feeling. It's almost like a form of hypnosis where the work boot makes you feel like you are working, and whereas these don't make me feel like I'm. It's all I wish I could put it into words, but anyways, wanted to upload this because there was something else I wanted to respond to, but like honestly, I mean, I'm almost done with the full podcast. I'll just have to remember I got so many things I want to listen to, and I've already listened to that, and if I'll just put it this way, if I remember the topics, then I'll bring it up again. I just wanted to make a quick video and talk about that, what y'all mentioned in the podcast there about the feet and stuff. And I know Rudy said that, like, it sounds like when you said that, it's like I have a similar feeling, like I get what you're talking about. It's like, when you're at home, if you just regular day and you're just sitting there, like it doesn't have that effect or something. But as another thing I was wanting to mention, I think that at one point my foot had in my opinion, because I looked up the symptoms, I actually developed a what do you call it, a bone fracture, a mild bone fracture in the arc of my foot from how that was like last year or something, or where I developed a pain in my foot that it was well, I didn't go to the doctor for it. I just didn't see necessary. It's gone now, thankfully, but I think it had a lot to do with the boots. Because I'd wore them same type of boots for like years. I'd just buy the same boots over and over again for several years. But I think it split my, put a fracture in my foot. I looked it up, and what the symptoms was is I had a mild fracture, and so it would hurt whenever I walked, and but yeah, so I wish that I had more money to where I could just go to a foot doctor and then order custom shoes that accommodate how my feet are shaped or something like that. That would be nice. So maybe one of these days I can get to that point. And but yeah, I know what it's like to sit down and on your day off, like you don't feel it. It's only after you've worked all day. So yep, that's it.